Hey everyone, my name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, so sit back, relax and enjoy. My dress shirt got me fired and almost kicked out of a college club fundraising banquet. This story takes place at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor during the 2015-2016 winter season. My childhood best friend invited my girlfriend and I to come visit him in college for a weekend. He moved into an apartment-style dorm by North Campus at the beginning of that school year. Courtyard for those familiar. His apartment had some space in the living room, which made it easy for people to come visit and stay overnight. The trip itself was amazing. We caught up on a lot of lost time, toured the school, downright beautiful by the way, sorry not sorry Michigan State, went out to a couple of places on Liberty Street, got wasted at a couple of house parties, my girlfriend had a blast and we even bought some Michigan hoodies as souvenirs at the Den store. I only wish I tried harder in high school, so I could have gone there for engineering. But I digress. The main reason why we came to visit was to attend a fundraising dinner for the Michigan Polish Student Association. My friend and I are Polish. We both were a part of Polish student clubs at our schools, and we would march together during the Chicago Polish Independence Day Parade every year. This particular year, his club reserved a room at the Palmer Commons. It looked like any typical banquet hall filled with tables, a couple of projector screens, and a DJ booth with a big dance floor in the middle. The dress code for the events was formal: dress shirt, pants, shoes, belts, and ties. I decided to wear a black shirt with thin white vertical stripes, black pants, and a black belt. Didn't care for a tie. People sat down, the club leaders welcomed everyone, talked about the club, school involvement, thanked and honored key contributors, presented the charity they were fundraising for, blah blah blah, and then everybody clapped. Throughout the event, servers brought our meals and water to the tables for guests to enjoy, while they were pretending to pay attention. At some point, my girlfriend noticed that all of the servers just so happened to be wearing black dress shirts with thin white vertical stripes, black pants, and wait for it, black belts. You can probably guess where this is going. She got my attention, pointed out the matching outfits between me and the staff, and we laughed it off as some funny coincidence. Someone at our table even made a joke that I should get back to work and take their dirty plates back to the kitchen. We left it at that and didn't think much else of it. For context, there were maybe 20 to 30 plus staff members working around the room. Big event, maybe 200 plus guests. Most staff were students themselves, working part-time to fund their college shenanigans. Apart from the 10 to 15 servers that had assigned tables to serve food to, the majority of the staff collectively handed out water jugs, bussed tables, and cleaned wherever needed. I doubt they paid enough attention to know everyone working that night, and given the extremely unlikely odds that I was wearing the exact same outfit as them, made it very easy for staff to assume I was one of them. Also, FYI, the school club handled the check-in process and seating assignments for the event. The service and cleaning was handled by the school's facilities department or whatever. Bottom line, there was an apparent disconnect between the club and staff on knowing who was and who wasn't a guest. No one wore name tags, wristbands, etc. Anyways, turns out some of the servers saw me sitting at a table, assumed I was part of the crew, and thought I decided to stop working to enjoy the event. It got to the point where servers would give me weird looks as they laid the plates down at our table, but they didn't confront me or say anything since it wasn't their place to do so. Oh, but they definitely made sure to point it out to the managers multiple times by multiple staff members. At some point between the main course and dessert, while another speech was being given out in the background, someone came up from behind me and placed a hand on my shoulder. Before I had a chance to turn around and react, a male voice said, "I need you to get up and step outside into the hallway with me right now." His hand slid down to my arm to get a decent grip, and I decided to get up and go along with it. I wasn't too surprised that this was happening given the circumstances explained above. We've been treating this as a coincidental joke the whole time, so I thought it was kind of funny that I got the attention of the managers. I'm 6'2" and he was about 5'7" or so with a slim build. It looked like I had about 40 to 50 pounds on him, so I didn't feel uncomfortable with the way he was trying to handle the situation. To him, I probably looked like some tall, fit college bro that screws around all the time. I figured at most I would need to explain that I am not a staff member, show my ticket for the event that was in my jacket pocket hanging on the chair, and sit back down and we all laugh about it. No harm, no foul, right? Nope. He pointed me to the nearest door and let me lead the way out into the hallway. I figured I should just wait until we were in the hallway to calmly explain the situation and not cause a scene in front of the other guests. I didn't grab my ticket or jacket in time, but whatever, I'm sure he will give me a chance to show it to him while we talk. My friend and girlfriend thought this was freaking hilarious, that this was happening, and assumed I would be back in a minute. We make our way into the empty hallway, and the manager shuts the doors behind us. All doors had to be closed during the event to keep the noise inside. I asked him to let go of my arm, and he does. Again, before I had a chance to say anything, and without skipping a beat, he starts blaring. "I don't know who the heck you think you are, and I don't know what crossed your mind to think that on your first shift you can decide to take a break and engage with the guests." "Sir, please let me—" "I don't care what your stupid excuse is. It's common sense that staff don't sit down with the guests and engage with them. I don't care if this is just some part-time job for you while you're studying. I can replace you with 5 more students tomorrow for all I care. You show nothing but laziness, disrespect, etc." During his rant, I noticed a campus security officer turn a corner and walk towards us. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. The manager keeps going on his rant, again not letting me speak for myself. When the officer was standing next to us, he gives his big punchline. "No, you're done. Fired. I don't want you in this building. I'm going to put a word in with the school and have you barred from working another campus job. You're going to end up explaining to your family why you couldn't last a single shift." Big oof. The officer takes his cue and starts to escort me to the nearest exit. The manager watches us until we turn the corner and goes back inside. I began explaining the situation to the cop from start to finish. At first, he didn't want to believe me and thought I was trying to con my way out of trouble. Eventually, he let me return to the room to grab my ticket, along with my DL to match the names on both and prove that I'm just a guest. So, more talking later, and after my friend and girlfriend vouched for me, the officer let me be and went off to talk to the manager. I assured the cop that I didn't feel the need to press charges, and we sat back down. Everything else went by normal. We decided to go out and drink once the formal speeches and food service was over. We came back again the following year for another weekend of fun with another banquet night. I made sure to bring a shirt no service worker would wear. Thankfully, the next banquet was in a different building on campus. I don't know what, if anything, happened to the manager. Probably nothing. I didn't care about pressing charges or making a scene. I just like being able to tell this interesting story. That is a bold move to just stand there and not say anything while this guy shouts at you thinking you're an employee. Like, I would have said straight away, oh, I don't work here, you've got the wrong person, or something like that. But it's even funnier if this guy was just embarrassed by the security guard. She thought I was a gas station worker, and then a therapist, apparently. One night, late after work, I stopped by a gas station to buy myself a slushie, which is a daily habit of mine during the summertime. I work at Pizza Hut, and at the time, I normally just wore a dark grey shirt with a design of a pizza on it, blue jeans and a visor that had the words Pizza Hut on it. Not to mention, my apron around my waist had the Pizza Hut logo on it as well. So it was kind of weird to have this older lady come up to me and tap me on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, where can I find the 2-liter drinks?" I turn around, empty cup in hand, and just go, I don't work here, sorry. But also they changed the store around, so I don't know where they put them this time. Cue me going back to trying to get my slushie. "Are you sure you don't work here?" she asks again, not really getting impatient, but acting as if she was confused. I shake my head, and then she looks me over again, and then nods. "Oh, right, you're the Pizza Hut girl." We live in a very, very, very small town, so most people tend to recognize me as one of the few waitresses that work there, even though I never recognize them. I just smile politely and nod, laughing a bit. "Yes, ma'am, I am." And then I apologize, a small habit of mine. "Sorry about that, have a nice day." That was supposed to be it. That was supposed to mean that this conversation was done now. It was supposed to be over. But then she stands there for a moment as I'm filling up my slushie and start to think that she's just waiting for me to get done with it so she could get a drink. And then she sighs and goes, "The love of my life broke up with me today." I nearly squished the styrofoam cup in my freaking hand because of how out of left field that sentence was. It hit me like a freaking truck. I slowly turn to her, and for a moment I'm stunned silent before I manage to let out a tiny and uneasy, "Oh, I'm sorry," before quickly turning to finish filling up my cup, putting the lid on it and grabbing the straw. She sighs again. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm gonna do without him." I nod again, going quiet as I slowly begin to make my way back up to the front to cash out. She nods as well and then goes to grab her 2-liter drink. I figured it was done. I thought we were over. And then she comes in line behind me and sighs again. "Yeah, the only thing I'll miss the most is the fun." I nearly choked on my slushie, to be honest. First, she mistakes me for a worker, and now she's just spilling her entire life story to me? I just wanted to go home. The person in front of me glances back at me and just gives me a pitying stare as I look back to the lady and just weakly nod. "That sucks." She nods a bit. "Well, I guess I don't really need men. I can do things myself." I felt really unwell and sick to my stomach, being forced to think of how this little older lady can possibly take care of herself. Thankfully, she turned around and began harassing the man behind her. I was able to pay for my slushie, and I gave the cashier a warning glance as I did, and I basically rushed out of that freaking gas station. As I'm sitting in my car, all I can really do is laugh because that was absolutely the weirdest WTF thing I've ever experienced in my life. It's been a couple of years since that happened. I wonder how she's doing because I think about that experience a lot. I feel bad for the older lady if, her husband broke up with her, but that's a very, very weird situation to put a random stranger in, don't you think? If you knew the person a bit better, sure, you can open up about things, but to a random stranger? Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more videos like it, then click on screen right now. And if you never want to miss out on a video, then hit subscribe, but I will see you all very soon.